When was the last time something in your real life was truly clear? Think about it for a second. Don't answer fast. Actually think about it. Because in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you see a bandit camp in the distance, and you already know what's going to happen. You sneak in, you take down the captain, you free the people, you grab what's in the chest. It's hard sometimes, sure, but it's clear. You know exactly what you have to do. You know when you've made it. You know when you're done. I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I don't have a clean answer for it. But when was the last time anything in your actual real life was that clear? Yeah, me too. At some point in our lives, someone told us, or maybe we know someone who, when they hear we play games, they look at us a certain way, like we stayed small, like we should grow up already, like we're lazy or wasting our time. And honestly, if you look at the whole picture, they kind of have a point. Except for the part where you don't actually become a champion and make a living out of it. But I think when we look at things this way, we're simplifying way too much. Because a lot of us aren't running away from anything. We're running towards something that actually makes sense. Something that pays us back faster. We're not running from, we're running toward. And here's where it gets interesting. Because I realized games give us at least 4 things life struggles to give us. Because life is just too unpredictable somehow. 1. A goal. When you start a game, you know exactly what you have to do and where you have to end up. 2. Progress. The more you play, the better you get, even when you pick the wrong difficulty and die too fast. 3. Honest feedback. When you mess something up, the game tells you right away, and it tells you why. 4. A sense of meaning, a role. You know you're good at something, and your brain just tells you that you matter. There's a 5th one too, but I'm saving it for the end. In real life, things feel a little different. Wait, here's where it gets weird. Let me go a little deeper. You open Odyssey, and the game hands you everything. The map points at things. This person needs your help. This fort needs to fall. This cultist is hiding somewhere on this island, and here's roughly where to start looking. Life doesn't hand you any of that. There's no map. You don't know who to talk to. You don't know what you're even supposed to do before you become someone important or successful or whatever that even means. You just get sold these slogans your whole life, but nobody actually tells you how to get there. There's not even a visible path. You wake up every morning and you try to guess what today is supposed to be. Every day just hands you something unknown. Let me give you another example. Say you start a shooter, or you start Odyssey from level 1. At the beginning, you're weak. You die fast. You don't have a strategy. After a few hundred hours, you get better. The more hours you put in, the more experience you earn, and you just get better at the thing. The effort you put into those hours actually pays off. You can see the progress. Even if it's not physical, let's call it that, it feels real. Because you can see you're lasting longer in fights. You're not dying as much. You're clearing harder stuff. Now compare that with real life. And here it gets messy. Say you apply to 50 jobs and you wait for replies. Depending on the economy, most of the time you don't even get a reply. On average, people apply to 100 jobs for one offer. 100. In Odyssey, 100 attempts means you've become a veteran Spartan warrior. In real life, it means 2 months of talking to a mailbox. Or you already have a job and you're trying to make a bit more money, so you work harder. But somehow rent and prices keep going up anyway. Or maybe you're in America, where you have to pay for college, which mostly means going into debt. And when you finish, if you finish, in most cases you end up unemployed and in debt to a bank. The average student debt after college? Around $40,000, meaning you start adult life with a brand new car you never bought, but that you're paying for every month. You start saving, and everything just becomes more expensive next year. In a game, everything turns into visible progress, whether it's experience or just the way you play. In real life, Everything just disappears into a black hole, and most of the time, nothing comes back out. Going back to that same shooter, or to Odyssey, when you die in the game, you usually know why. You were too weak. Your strategy was bad. You moved too slow. I know in the moment it can be frustrating, but it's clear. So you try a new strategy next time. In real life, everything is foggy. You go to an interview. They don't call you back. And on top of that, you don't get any kind of explanation. We'll keep your file in our database, meaning you'll be forgotten in 4 minutes. Or you message someone and they leave you on read. No real reason given, or at least not one written down anywhere. A little feedback would be nice. You fail an exam. You get a bad grade. You don't get into the school you wanted. You get ignored, and you're left to figure out alone what you did wrong. And sometimes you just start blaming yourself. And I think that's why we fall back into the game. Because the game gives you clear feedback. Somehow the game tells you what you did wrong. In real life, when you lose, your own brain just starts whispering that maybe you're just a loser. And that's a very different feeling. But there's something else, and I think this one's the most painful. Games give us something else too. We can be seen more easily. The game gives you something and it shows people your value. From the rank, to the gear, to the skin, to the level. Everyone can see it, and everyone knows what it means. Now put that next to real life. We usually respect people based on a confusing mix of things. Money, cars, looks, a job title, confidence, followers, who you're sleeping with, who you're in a relationship with. There's no line, no shared marker. Nobody agreed on anything, and most of it you can't even see. It's like the game is a tennis match, with clear rules, a visible score. The ball is in or out. Life is 20 people playing different games at the same time, on the same court, and everyone is shouting, "I won!" So if you don't really have a social life going on, a game can be this warm place, a good place, where you know exactly what it means to be good at something, where people can actually tell, with more certainty, what counts. And now, the fifth one. The hardest one to say out loud. 5. The people. For some of us, games aren't really about games anymore. They're about the fact that this is where we found our place, our identity. When you log in, somebody's there. Somebody saved you a spot. Somebody actually noticed you didn't show up yesterday. Slowly, you start to matter. A voice chat can feel easier, more intimate sometimes than talking to someone face to face. A team can feel safer than a classroom. A lobby can feel way more comfortable, way more like home than your actual home. Those people feel real. They actually mean what they say. But they're also fragile, let's call them that. They can disappear if the server shuts down, if the game dies, especially in online games. Or people just drift to a new game without you. And the place that held everything together, the place that made all those relationships possible, one day it just disappears. Or maybe those people move on into real life. They have kids, they have families, and they disappear too, and you're alone again. And it's hard to explain to anyone why that hurts, why you feel that vulnerable. It's like you lived in a city your whole life. And one morning you wake up and the city isn't there anymore. It didn't move. It didn't burn. It's just gone. And you're trying to explain to people, but that was my home. And they say, it was just a city. So when people wonder why young people today are addicted to games, I think they're asking the wrong question. And maybe games aren't even that good. Maybe life is just too chaotic and too badly built. Maybe it's too expensive to live. Maybe the rewards come too late, or sometimes never. Maybe it's too confusing to understand what you're even supposed to do. This generation is lazy, meaning we didn't build a world where their work would mean anything. The game, on the other hand, gives you a world where the work you put in leads to something predictable. Real life gives you a world where you work and you wait and you hope to be rewarded, and most of the time, nothing happens. I'm not here to defend games, and I'm not saying they're good for you. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Depends on what study you read. Some say they wreck your sleep, your health, even your friendships, and those are things you don't really get back. Other studies say they actually help your memory, your planning, things like that. I'm not trying to convince you to stop playing either, because that's just not how it works, and I think you already know that. For some people, that would mean shutting down the only place where they feel like they have meaning, like they matter, and then replacing it with nothing. If real life wants to compete with games, it's going to have to offer something better than just telling people they should be ashamed. At the start, I said I didn't have a clean answer for any of this. And honestly, I still don't. But maybe the real question isn't why people are escaping into games. Maybe the real question is the one nobody around you is actually asking out loud. Why does real life keep getting harder to live in? And next time you see someone lost in a game 8 hours a day, maybe the question isn't what's wrong with them. Maybe the question is what the world outside isn't giving them. We see that now. Most people don't. Or maybe we just got used to too many easy things, and now we want more. Who knows? I'd actually like to know what you think. Drop it below.